I went to see The House of Bernarda Alba at the National Theatre, starring Harriet Walter, and when I say that this is the play that has made me feel the most uncomfortable, I'm not exaggerating, and here is why. Set in a rural Spanish village in 1936, this play is much more than a story about a matriarchal figure, Bernarda Alba, and her 5 daughters after passing of their husband and father. This is a story about all those societal norms and pressures put on women throughout ages to be considered pure and perfect and proper. And I think what makes it really scary is when you see the play and actually recognize that some of these things do still reflect society of today. Maybe not to the same extent to the barriers that women in 1930s had in rural Spain, but definitely the residue of those attitudes women are still facing today in different capacities in different scenarios. And it is one of those things that when you watch this play as a woman, you are shaken by just things that are said and remarked on, but do resonate still to this day. And one of the main reasons why these things come across in such a sharp way to the audiences is the amazing production team behind this play. Firstly, starting with the writer Federico Garcia Lorca is one of the most prominent Spanish playwrights of the 20th century, and this is a third piece of the trilogy about women and societal norms based on women in Spain. And The House of Bernarda Alba is one of his works that is regarded as the most mature, and actually Lorca didn't manage to see this play being put on stage because he was killed. There's so much heaviness already involved in the creation of the story itself, and having the right team to elevate this story and present it in the right way is extremely important, and the National Theatre has the best of the best. So Rebecca Fracknell, who is an award-winning director who directed Cabaret and A Streetcar Named Desire, as well as Alice Birch, who adapted the play, and she's the mastermind behind Normal People's screen adaptation, and all of that topped with Harriet Walter as Bernarda Alba. And what helped elevate this story further is amazing set. I don't think that I've seen such a great set in a while. I think that is because a lot of new plays have the tendency to keep things as minimal as possible and really focus on actors, but this is the set that you can tell has taken a lot of thought and care to build out, and it is big. The whole stage is occupied by this house, and it just feels like it's a doll house, and you just kind of cut it in half and you can see everything that is happening, and it is so crucial for the development of the storyline and just like seeing how all of these characters act when they are on their own. And I think this almost allows you to feel like you're sneak peeking into somebody else's life and there's just something wrong about it. So I think that this set has really helped understand the story better and make it even more uncomfortable, because you feel like you're a fly on the wall witnessing all grotesque and weird things that happen in a family with girls who are as restrained as Bernarda's daughters are. And that brings me to Harriet Walter, the star of the show. Undoubtedly, I think everyone who loves her from Succession, she's Rogan Loy's ex-wife, or Killing Eve. If you like her and if you appreciate her work, I think this is one of those roles when you go and see it and you're again just full of admiration for her as an actor, because she is incredible. What's really interesting is that she actually doesn't have the most lines in the show. I think that there are other characters who potentially have more, but her presence and stance and her voice and just the way that she occupies the space on stage, it just feels like she's this looming presence that is moving around like a shadow, really burdening all of her daughters and really placing that heaviness on their lives. And this is not something that you can demonstrate with words. I think it's very much her as an actor truly embodying this character to that level that just like her stage presence really, like a dementor, like takes life out of the room. The pace of the play is another thing that makes it extremely uncomfortable uncomfortable to watch because there are quite a few scenes where there are different dialogues overlapping. It starts with a scene post funeral and everyone is in their house and lots of women are just chit-chatting, and there are like so many different conversations happening at the same time, and they're all kind of like in the darkness and you just can't follow. And it is very lifelike scene, and it feels like you are just, again, like a fly on a wall, and you're like, what is happening? What am I meant to listen to? Who am I meant to pay attention to here? And like you can catch yourself just like getting distracted, one thing, the other thing, and then ultimately it all forms a full picture. But it's not the only scene where this is happening. There are quite a few of those kind of dialogues that are happening with two daughters, and then there's like a completely different conversation happening with the other two characters. And especially because you can also see them in their rooms, you can also see, for example, Bernarda's mother in the room trying to escape through the window. The other one is taking a shower, the other one is changing, the other one is praying. So there's constantly an overlap of things that is happening, and this pace just makes you feel like you don't know what's happening, you don't know what to pay attention to. And especially because it's like such a tragic story, it kind of culminates in that uncomfortable feeling, and you leave ultimately with that uncomfortable feeling because of the pace of the play, which just confirms that it is a play done well if that is how you leave the theater. But then the question is this the kind of play that you want to see? Because we have different reasons why we go to theater. Some people love to go because they just want to listen to some cheerful music and entertain themselves. Other people go because they want to see their favorite actors, and there are also those who just like classics and serious plays. And I think that this is the type of theater goer who'd really enjoy this play. It is a tragedy, it's a tragic story, it doesn't end well, and there's a lot of sadness and a lot of feelings that you're gonna feel. This play is on at the National Theatre until early January, so if you would like to catch it while it's lasting, then you don't have a lot of time. It is basically on for the whole December and the first week of January, so make sure to get your tickets. But if this definitely doesn't sound like your cup of tea, maybe check out some other classics in London in this video where I talk about the longest standing shows in London.